My child, pause right where you are. I'm completely serious. Please don't scroll past this. I'm speaking straight to you, not to a crowd, not to everyone else, not to whoever else might be listening somewhere. This message is meant for you. I've paused you mid-scroll, mid-thought, mid-distraction because I need your undivided attention for just 1 minute. That's all I'm asking for. 1 minute, given with purpose, urgency, and love. What I'm about to say can't sink in if your mind is only half here. Stay with me. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not manufacturing drama. I'm not trying to stir up emotion just for the sake of it. I'm giving you the plain truth because this moment counts. I know how fast you usually move past things. I know how easily you tell yourself you'll deal with it later. I know how skilled you've become at tuning out that quiet pull inside you, choosing distraction instead. That's exactly why I stopped you. That's why I'm asking now. Give me 1 full minute, your time and your complete focus. This matters urgently for your life. Listen closely. This kind of interruption is rare for me. I don't break into your day like this without reason. I'm not careless with moments, and I don't waste words. When I stop you this clearly, it's because something important is on the line. I'm not joking about this. If you brush this off, things won't stay the same. There's no neutral option here. You'll either move forward with more awareness, or you'll slip further into numbness. I'm not saying that to scare you. I'm saying it because I love you too much to stay quiet. This message isn't random, and it isn't meant for everyone. Plenty of people will scroll past it and feel nothing at all, never even notice its weight. But you felt something. You paused. You sensed this was different. That's not a coincidence. That's alignment. Heaven has been watching this moment closely. I've been watching this moment closely. I've been observing you far longer than you realize, hearing the prayers you never said out loud, noticing the exhaustion you try to hide, seeing the confusion you try to handle by yourself. I know fear is rising in you right now. That tightness, that instinct to pull back when something feels heavy. Let me lift that fear off you and replace it with closeness. You're not being confronted, you're being invited. You're not in trouble. You're being cared for. Urgency doesn't mean danger. Urgency means significance. It means something is worth stopping for. This isn't about religion. It isn't about rules, rituals, noise, or performance. It isn't about proving your faith or fixing yourself. Strip all of that away. This is about awareness. This is about presence. This is about you recognizing that your life is moving, your time is moving, and your heart has been carrying more than it was ever meant to carry alone. I'm asking you to pause long enough to notice that. Please don't skip past this. Please don't tell yourself this is just another message. Please don't let distraction rob you of the clarity trying to reach you. I'm completely serious when I say what you do next matters. Not because everything will fall apart if you look away, but because you'll miss the start of something meant to help you breathe again. I know you're tired, not just physically, but on a deeper level. I know you've learned how to function while disconnected from yourself. I know you scroll, distract yourself, stay busy, or stay entertained because stillness feels too heavy. Stillness stirs up thoughts you haven't wanted to face. But I'm here in that stillness, not to overwhelm you, but to steady you. Heaven is fully focused on this moment because this moment is about direction. You don't need some dramatic sign. You don't need everything to change all at once. You need awareness. You need to listen long enough for truth to settle instead of bouncing right off you. That's why I asked for 1 minute. 1 minute can shift the direction of a day. A day can shift the direction of a life. I'm not manipulating your emotions. I'm not trying to trap your attention. I'm inviting you to choose being present instead of running on autopilot. So much of your life lately has been lived on autopilot, doing what needs doing, saying what needs saying, just getting through the day. But you weren't created only to get through life. You were created to actually be alive within it. This is urgent, not because something bad is coming, but because something good is trying to begin, and beginnings require attention. Seeds don't grow when they're ignored. They grow when they're noticed, protected, and given room. Right now, something is trying to take root in you. Not noise, not danger. Truth, honesty, rest. Give me 1 minute. Let your shoulders relax. Let your breathing slow down. Let your mind stop racing ahead. You don't have to solve anything right now. You don't have to decide everything right now. You only have to listen. Something starts the instant you truly listen. Not later, not once you feel ready, but immediately. I'm completely serious when I say this interruption was deliberate. I rearranged your timing. I allowed delays. I blocked out other things competing for your attention so you'd be here right now. Not because you're special in a way that excludes anyone else, but because you're seen in a deeply personal way. Love is always personal. Type amen. Your love never runs out, Lord. If His mercy has never failed you, hear this without any fear. I'm not angry with you. I'm not disappointed in you. I'm not keeping a tally of your failures. I'm paying attention to your heart. I'm watching the way you've been carrying and the way you've learned to survive rather than rest. I'm asking you to stop surviving for 1 minute and simply be present. This matters urgently for your life because direction is shaped by small moments of awareness, not just by big decisions. If you ignore this, you'll keep repeating the same patterns, telling yourself you'll slow down eventually. Eventually turns into months. Months turn into years. And suddenly life feels distant from your own heart. I don't want that for you. Please don't skip this. Please say, let this moment finish what it started. You were meant to hear this now, not yesterday, not tomorrow. Now, and what follows won't be loud or dramatic, but it will be real. Peace will start replacing pressure. Clarity will start replacing confusion. Connection will start replacing numbness. I asked for 1 minute because 1 minute of genuine listening can open a door that has felt shut for a long time. Stay with me. What you do next matters. My child, I need you to understand why I interrupted you. I don't interrupt without a reason. I don't break into moments carelessly. I don't pull your attention unless something truly matters. When I stop you like this, it's because I see what you can't see yet. I see the direction your heart was drifting toward, the weight you were about to carry without noticing, and the quiet ways you were beginning to disconnect from yourself. This interruption wasn't sudden from my side. It was intentional, deliberate, and full of mercy. You were about to get distracted again, not by something obviously harmful, not by anything dramatic or loud, but by the slow kind of distraction that feels harmless. Another scroll, another task, another moment of numbing out, another hour slipping by unnoticed. Those are the distractions that steal the most because they don't feel dangerous. They feel normal, comfortable, familiar, and little by little, they pull you away from what's alive inside you. I saw you heading toward that familiar escape. I saw your mind getting ready to drift, to stay busy, to avoid stillness, because stillness has been asking you questions you weren't ready to answer. I saw how close you were to postponing yourself again, postponing rest, postponing honesty, postponing the moment when you'd finally stop and feel what's been building inside you. That's why I stepped in. Divine interruption isn't punishment. It's protection. It's mercy showing up before the damage sets in. I interrupt because I love you too much to let you drift without awareness. I interrupt because I know where certain paths lead long before you reach the end of them. I interrupt because sometimes the greatest danger isn't falling apart. It's slowly falling asleep to your own life. You might think interruption feels harsh, but love that never interrupts isn't really love. Love warns. Love pauses. Love steps in when staying silent would cost too much. If I let you keep going uninterrupted, you wouldn't collapse right away. Nothing dramatic would happen. That's exactly what makes it dangerous. You just keep going, telling yourself you'll slow down later, reflect later, listen later. And later has been quietly slipping away from you. I didn't interrupt you because you were doing something wrong. I interrupted you because you were about to miss something right, something necessary, something that couldn't wait. I saw the heaviness building in you, the tiredness turning into numbness, the growing distance between your heart and your awareness. I saw how easily you were learning to live without checking in with your own soul. And I couldn't stay quiet. Please support our channel. Our mission is to spread happiness, strength, and devotion to God in your life. If you'd like, you can show your support through Super Thanks. There's mercy behind urgency. I need you to understand that. Urgency doesn't always mean danger is on its way. Often, it means help has arrived at the last possible moment before damage becomes habit. I'm urgent because I'm gentle enough to care and strong enough to act. I'm urgent because love doesn't whisper when whispering would go unheard. I know you're not deliberately avoiding me. You're not choosing distance on purpose. You're tired. You're overwhelmed. You're doing what you've learned to do just to get through the day. But survival mode slowly cuts you off from depth. It trains you to live on the surface because going deeper feels like too much. And I won't let you live disconnected from yourself forever. This interruption is my way of saying, stop. Look at where you are. Look at how you're living. Look at what you're carrying. Not with blame, with care, with clarity, with concern. You were about to move on without noticing that something inside you is asking for attention. Not later, but now. I show love through urgency because I respect your life. I respect your time. I respect the weight your heart carries. I don't treat your days casually. I don't assume you'll always have this same openness, this same sensitivity, this same ability to respond. Hearts change. Habits form. Sensitivity fades when it's ignored. That's why I'm interrupting while you can still feel this moment. You might be starting to grasp the seriousness of this now. Not fear, not panic, seriousness, importance, weight. This isn't a casual pause. This isn't a random thought. This is a deliberate moment where direction can shift quietly but permanently. I'm not asking you to overhaul your entire life in an instant. I'm asking you to become aware of it. You were about to let another day pass without noticing yourself. Another moment without listening, another chance to choose presence slipping by. And I love you too much to let that go unaddressed. I'd rather interrupt you now than watch you wake up later wondering how you drifted so far without noticing. This is why I had to interrupt you, because you matter, because your heart matters, because who you're becoming matters, because you weren't meant to live on autopilot, because awareness is the doorway to healing, and healing can't begin in distraction. Stay with me in this understanding. Let's settle. You weren't stopped by accident. You were interrupted by love. My child, you've heard me before. Not quite like this, not with this clarity or weight, but you have heard me. My voice has brushed against your heart many times before. Gently, patiently, never forcing its way in. I spoke in whispers because whispers invite closeness. I spoke softly because I wanted you to lean in, not pull away. And you did hear me, even if you later doubted it. I spoke through small nudges that made no logical sense. A sudden pause before a decision, an uneasy feeling when something looked fine on the surface, a quiet thought that kept returning even when you try to brush it off. You felt it as restlessness, as discomfort, as a sense that something was slightly off. That wasn't anxiety. That was discernment waking up. That was me. There were moments you knew you should stop, but you kept going anyway. Moments you felt prompted to speak, but you stayed quiet. Moments you sensed change was needed, but you told yourself it wasn't the right time. You put off what you felt because postponing felt safer than responding. You told yourself you'd listen later, once life slowed down, once things were clearer, once you felt stronger. I saw all of it. I understood it. Hear this clearly now. I don't condemn you for those moments. I never did. I know how overwhelming life can feel. I know how loud your responsibilities become. I know how easy it is to dismiss a whisper when everything else is shouting. You weren't rebellious. You were cautious. You were tired. You were doing what you thought you had to do to survive. I remember the inner warnings you felt and brushed aside. The times your heart tightened and you shrugged it off. The times you sensed you should step back but told yourself you were overthinking. You ignore me sometimes, not because you didn't care, but because you were afraid of what listening might demand of you. Change is uncomfortable. Obedience feels risky when outcomes are unclear. I understand that. There are also times you listen only part way. You heard me, but you didn't act. You noticed the feeling, but you didn't follow through. You told yourself, I'll think about it, or later, or once things make more sense. Partial listening is still listening, but it leaves work unfinished. And unfinished things tend to come back around. I want you to feel my compassion now, not my disappointment. I'm not bringing up these moments to shame you. I'm reminding you because they matter. They show that my voice has stayed consistent even when your response was delayed. They show I never gave up speaking to you just because you didn't respond right away. That's why I'm speaking louder now. Not because I'm angry, not because you failed some invisible test, I'm speaking louder because whispers were no longer enough to reach you through the noise. Life has gotten louder. Distraction has gotten stronger. Numbness has become more familiar. So my voice has become clearer, firmer, more direct. Love adjusts when conditions change. A repeated call isn't rejection, it's mercy. It means I still want your attention. It means I still care enough to reach out to you again. I repeat myself because what I'm saying still matters. I repeat myself because the door hasn't closed yet. I repeat myself because timing has shifted, and what could wait before can't wait now. There's meaning in a repeated call. When something keeps returning to your awareness again and again, it's not by accident. When a thought won't leave you alone, when a question keeps resurfacing, when a discomfort stays unresolved, it's because it needs your attention. I don't repeat myself to irritate you. I repeat myself to protect you. Every time you delayed listening, I stayed close. I adjusted the timing. I softened the consequences. I shielded you from harm you never saw. But there comes a point where staying silent would cause more damage than speaking up. There comes a moment when love has to speak plainly, even if it's uncomfortable. You're standing in that moment right now. I need you to understand something important. Having heard me before means you're capable of hearing me now. You're not distant. You're not cut off. You're not unreachable. The fact that you recognize my voice, even faintly, means a relationship already exists. And relationship is what allows urgency to feel safe instead of threatening. You might feel regret thinking about the times you ignored me. Let that regret turn into awareness, not shame. Awareness sharpens discernment. Shame dulls it. I'm not asking you to relive the past. I'm asking you to learn from it. Those moments taught you something about yourself. They showed you where fear speaks loudest. They showed you where trust needs to grow. Now I'm asking you to listen fully, not partially, to respond, not postpone, to stay present instead of drifting away. This isn't because I'll stop speaking if you don't. It's because repeated delay slowly trains the heart not to listen at all. And I want your heart sensitive, alive, responsive. I'm still calling you because I still want you close. I'm still speaking because there's still time. I'm still reaching out because you still matter deeply to me. This louder voice you're hearing now isn't anger. It's clarity. It's love refusing to be ignored. Stay with me. Let this call sink in deeper than the others. You've heard me before, and you're hearing me now. What you do with this moment will shape how clearly you hear me going forward. I'm here. I'm speaking. And I'm waiting. Not with judgment, but with hope. Comment Amen. I believe healing is coming now if you're expecting God's restoration. My child, I need you to listen carefully now. Not with fear, not with panic, but with honesty. What's at stake right now isn't punishment, and it isn't my love for you. My love is settled. It doesn't waver. What's at stake is alignment, direction, sensitivity, the quiet shaping of your future that happens through moments like this one. Not through dramatic events, but through response or delay. Delay carries spiritual consequences, and I'm telling you this in truth, not as a threat. When something meant to be addressed keeps getting postponed, your heart slowly adjusts to carrying unresolved weight. What was once discomfort becomes normal. What once stirred you becomes background noise. And little by little, you stop noticing what your spirit was trying to tell you. That's the real danger of delay. Not sudden collapse, but a gradual dulling. I want you to understand this clearly. Delay doesn't make me leave. It doesn't make me stop loving you. But it does affect how clearly you hear me, how freely you move, and how much peace you experience. When you delay responding to what you already sense, clarity starts to blur. You start doubting what you once knew. You second-guess your discernment. You lean on distraction more than direction. This isn't punishment, it's consequence. The same way ignoring hunger leads to weakness, not because food vanished, but because the body wasn't fed. There are doors open to you right now, connected to timing. Not every door slams shut loudly. Some close quietly, simply by no longer being accessible the way they once were. Opportunities for growth, healing, and realignment don't always announce when they're expiring. They stay open for a season, waiting for awareness. When awareness is postponed too long, the season shifts. This doesn't mean everything vanishes. It means things become harder than they needed to be. It means lessons get learned through repetition instead of progress. It means peace feels delayed, joy feels distant, and life starts feeling heavier than it should. I don't want that for you. That's why I'm speaking now. Windows close to, my child, windows of sensitivity, windows of courage, windows of openness. When you're aware and responsive, growth flows more easily. When you keep telling yourself later, something in you learns to stay guarded. Guarded hearts survive, but they don't thrive. And you weren't created merely to survive. Stay with me in this clarity. Don't let fear rush you, and don't let comfort lull you back to sleep. Let urgency sharpen you gently. This isn't about pressure, it's about care. What's at stake is how your future unfolds, and I want that future to feel lighter, clearer, and more alive than it has in a long time. My child, I see how distracted you've become, even if you don't fully realize it yourself. Distraction didn't arrive loudly in your life. It didn't announce itself as danger. It crept in quietly, disguised as relief. A scroll to rest your mind, noise to avoid silence, constant motion so you wouldn't have to feel what was building underneath. I see all of it, and I'm speaking to you now not with anger, but with deep understanding. Your days are packed with noise, sounds, images, words, updates, conversations, obligations. Your mind rarely rests. Even when your body is still, your thoughts keep racing. You reach for your phone without thinking. You fill empty moments automatically. You stay busy not because you love busyness, but because stillness has started feeling uncomfortable. Stillness raises questions you haven't wanted to answer yet. You didn't choose distraction out of carelessness. You chose it because you were tired. You were overwhelmed. You needed relief from the heaviness you were carrying. Distraction felt like a way to breathe without facing the pain. Numbing felt easier than feeling. And I understand that. I'm not disappointed in you for it. I see the reason behind it. But I need you to understand something gently and clearly. Constant distraction dulls spiritual sensitivity. When your attention is always pulled outward, your inner awareness grows quiet. Not because it disappears, but because it's being ignored. Over time, ignoring your inner life makes it harder to recognize my voice. Not because I stopped speaking, but because your heart is never still long enough to listen. You don't need to throw everything away. You don't need to live in silence all the time. I'm not asking you to reject the world. I'm asking you to stop running from yourself, to notice when you automatically reach for noise, to ask yourself what you're avoiding in that moment, to stay present just a little longer. I want to gently invite you back to stillness. Not forced, not rigid, not heavy. Stillness doesn't mean emptiness. It means space. Space where your breath can slow. Space where your thoughts can settle. Space where you can feel again without becoming overwhelmed. Stillness is where I speak most clearly. Not because my voice is weak, but because your heart is finally open enough to hear it. I've always been speaking to you in nudges and discomfort, in longing, in that quiet sense that something more is available. But noise has been drowning it out. Come back to awareness with me now. Just notice your breath. Notice your body. Notice what you feel without trying to fix it. You don't need to understand everything. You only need to stop running for a moment. Let stillness feel safe again. I'm here in the quiet. I always have been. I'm not waiting to accuse you. I'm waiting to meet you, to remind you who you are beneath the noise, to restore the sensitivity dulled by constant stimulation, to help you feel alive again, not overwhelmed. Distraction has kept you busy, but hasn't kept you fulfilled. Stillness will feel strange at first because you're not used to it anymore. That doesn't mean it's wrong. It means it's healing. Sit with me here. Let the noise fade for a moment. Let awareness return gently. You don't need to escape anymore. You're safe here. My child, I need you to hear this clearly, without fear twisting it, without old wounds misreading it. What I'm telling you now isn't a threat. It's love. Urgency doesn't always mean danger is coming. Sometimes urgency means care refuses to stay quiet. Sometimes it means love is close enough to interrupt. Fear shouts to control. Love speaks to protect. And I'm speaking to you from love. I know that when you hear urgency, your body tenses up. You've lived through moments where urgency meant pressure, punishment, or loss. You've been warned before by voices that didn't love you, by systems that demanded performance, by people who used fear to control you. So when you hear me speak firmly, part of you braces for condemnation. Let me lift that fear off you right now. I'm not here to threaten you. I'm here to guard you. Urgency and fear aren't the same thing. Fear says, act now or else. Love says, come closer, this matters. Fear pushes. Love invites. Fear creates panic. Love creates clarity. What I'm telling you carries weight, yes, but it doesn't carry harm. It carries care. It carries attention. It carries protection. I warn because I love, always. I don't want to scare you into obedience. I warn because I see what you can't see yet, and I refuse to stay silent while you drift toward unnecessary pain. Staying quiet in a moment like this wouldn't be kindness. It would be neglect. And I'm not a distant God watching quietly while his children struggle. I'm a present God who speaks when speaking is needed. Throughout history, I've always warned the people I love, not with cruelty, but with compassion. I warned Noah not to frighten him, but to save him. I warned Lot not to shame him, but to pull him out of destruction. I warned Israel again and again, not because I enjoyed correcting them, but because I longed for closeness. Every warning was an invitation to life, not a threat of punishment. Even when my warnings went unheeded, my love never disappeared. Amen. Your word is my lamp. If scripture lights your path every day, share this video.